The engine of the American economy runs on speed, individualism, and transaction. We celebrate the ruthless efficiency of a system where the highest virtue is personal success, and the clock is the absolute ruler. We praise the lone wolf innovator, the CEO who sacrifices everything for the bottom line, and the fierce competition of the market. But look closely. Beneath the surface of the corporate reports, the high-tech campuses, and the frantic pace of the day-to-day, a profound cultural shift is occurring. This powerful, productive machine is quietly being softened, supported, and ultimately strengthened by a set of human-centered values born thousands of miles away. Americans are often, without even realizing it, adopting the core tenets of Filipino work culture. It's not an HR mandate. It's a cultural stealth mode, driven by the simple, undeniable need for something our own culture has long neglected: human connection and genuine, unconditional care. This is the story of three powerful Filipino values: Bayanihan, Pakikisama, and Malasakit, that are silently fixing the deepest cracks in the American workplace. For decades, American industries, particularly healthcare, customer service, and remote tech support, have relied heavily on the Filipino workforce. This reliance created a cultural conduit, a bridge across the Pacific that didn't just transfer skills, it transferred soul. And the American system, in its desperate pursuit of employee retention, improved customer satisfaction, and organizational resilience, found itself absorbing this soul, not through policy changes, but through daily, effective interaction. The first, most essential force is Bayanihan, pronounced Bayanihan. It means communal unity or team spirit. The classic image is of neighbors lifting a bahay kubo, the traditional nipa hut, and carrying it to a new location. Think about the radical implications of that. A collective, unassigned effort for a communal goal. No one is paid extra or assigned a specific post. Everyone simply grabs hold because the success of the move belongs to the entire community. This spirit stands in stark, necessary contrast to the fierce individualism that defines the typical American office, where we're taught to focus only on our single task and our own personal metrics. Bayanihan demands that the entire enterprise succeed. Today, American corporate structures are struggling to manufacture this sense of shared purpose. They are finally abandoning purely individual rewards and embracing team-based performance bonuses and shared accountability metrics. Companies have realized that when a crisis hits, like a major server failure or a massive deadline crunch, the Bayanihan instinct, that powerful, unassigned impulse to jump in and help a colleague, regardless of your job title, is what saves the day. It's the difference between saying, "That's not my job," and saying, "We've got this, together." We are finally learning that collective ownership of success is a far more powerful and resilient motivator than any individual glory. Now, if you are seeing the truth in these values and you recognize the Filipino spirit in your own life and work, show your support right now by subscribing to this channel to help us celebrate the emotional richness and global impact of this vital culture. The second essential value is Pakikisama, which means getting along or smooth interpersonal relations. This value prioritizes group harmony and maintaining social goodwill above almost all else, naturally making the workplace an extension of the family, the kapwa, or shared humanity. In the U.S., we've long celebrated radical candor and a level of confrontational directness that often leaves employees feeling cold, attacked, and isolated. Pakikisama is the powerful counterpoint. It teaches that deep, trusting relationships are the unshakable foundation of effective work.
We're witnessing American hospitals and elder care centers updating their training guides to focus more on holistic, empathy-based care instead of just sticking to clinical tasks. This shift isn't only about doing the right thing. It's actually about getting better results. When patients feel truly cared for, they report high satisfaction, which leads to improved outcomes and better ratings for these institutions. It's clear, the best way to take care of someone, whether they're a customer, client, or patient, is to treat them with the same genuine concern you'd show a family member. Now, let's talk about the big trend in remote work and the boom in business process outsourcing (BPO). When American companies started leaning on the Philippines for customer service, IT support, and back-office work, it created an unexpected cultural connection. Filipino workers are famous for their adaptability and hard work. This isn't just a skill they've developed. It's a cultural trait that comes from a long history of working across different time zones and being able to adjust to changing situations. This resilience and natural can-do mindset are now shaping the American remote work culture. Companies are on the lookout for that positive, solution-focused attitude that maintains a professional and upbeat vibe, even in stressful moments. The ongoing push for a great customer experience, often tied to the Filipino value of Pakikisama, seeking harmony in relationships, is setting the standard for quality interactions across all American service sectors.
One of the biggest challenges in adoption comes from how we communicate. In Filipino culture, there's a strong tendency to avoid direct confrontation because of the value placed on saving face, known as hiya. This leads to a way of speaking that can be a bit vague. Instead of saying a straightforward no or being blunt, people might respond in a softer, more indirect way. While this approach keeps things polite, it can create misunderstandings in a more straightforward American context. For workplaces in the US, the goal is to blend these two communication styles. We need to keep the kindness and respect found in Pakikisama while also making sure things are clear, as is typical in Western business. Managers should be trained to pick up on the subtle hints and ask questions for clarification. Sometimes when someone says, yes, it might really mean I'm willing to try, but I have my doubts. The real challenge is figuring out how to combine compassion with efficiency. This blending of cultures is already happening. American workplaces are starting to soften their hard edges, embracing values that highlight humanity. They're moving away from a solitary hustle to the shared strength of Bayanihan. Instead of a confrontational approach, there's a shift towards the respectful balance of Pakikisama. And rather than just transactional interactions, there's a growing commitment to Malasakit, or caring for one another. This cultural shift is reshaping not just how we work, but who we are in the workplace. The evolving American ethos recognizes a truth that the Philippines has understood for a long time. The best, most human, and sustainable work is fueled by community strength, loyalty, and a collective spirit, not just money or status. American workplaces are becoming more compassionate, more connected, and ultimately, stronger. The essence of Filipino culture is the secret ingredient driving this change. This quiet cultural shift shows that while the individualistic approach can create personal wealth, it often falls short of fostering real engagement or lasting loyalty within organizations. Embracing these Filipino values is a significant move towards a more humane and effective corporate structure. When we look at the most successful global companies today, those that thrive with collaborative remote teams and offer outstanding customer experiences, we see organizations that have embraced the Bayanihan spirit, whether intentionally or not. They understand that true strength isn't just about top-down control. It comes from building trust and connections through Pakikisama. This transformation proves that the future of work isn't just mechanical, it's deeply emotional. The Filipino heart, or Puso, is quietly setting a new standard for professionalism in the 21st century, showing that kindness and commitment are the real competitive edges.